What's going on, guys? It's Brandon back here again, and today, well, not today, for the third time today, we're going to be doing our third video of the day, and we're going to be letter grading all of the players that I think that I qualify as played enough on the team to get a letter grade. And this is going to be judged by people that have the players that were on the team at the end of the year, and there's like, if they played more than half the season or were supposed to be on the roster for most of the season, then they are going to be in. So let's just start with, I originally just had everyone who was on the final roster, but I realized there was injuries and trades, so I decided to bring some in. We'll start with Connor Murphy. I letter coded the team. I have green defensemen, red forwards, and blue goaltenders. And Murphy had 10 points. Was injured for a bunch of the season. Only played 50-something games. But he did have 10 points, and as a defensive defenseman, that's not bad. I'm going to give him I think I'll give him a B-. He didn't really do anything special. He was gone for part of it, so you can't blame him there. But you can. 10 points as defensive defenseman's fine, but even when on defense, the Hawks this year just weren't bad, so it's more just a reflection of the Hawks' performance more than his personally. But anyway, moving on. Borgstrom, 7 points. Again, not in the lineup for a bunch of it because he was being scratched, though. So I'm going to have to give him a D+. Borgstrom was supposed to be the hype part out of that trade for when we the one where we sent Lucas Wallmark and Lucas Carlson to Florida, and we got back Brent Connolly contract, and he was supposed to be the sweetener, and he hasn't done much. We could say that. Doc, D-. This was supposed to be his breakout season. By the end of the year, he was healthy scratch for the last 5 games because he just did not perform. 26 points, that's not good enough, Doc. Come on. You were playing with Taze, you were playing with Kane, you were playing with DeBrincat, Strome, Kubalik. It's not good enough. That's simply not good enough, and he needs to be better if he wants. And it's a contract year for him, his first contract, so we'll see what he gets because of that. Dahan, I'll give him a B. Dahan was healthy for most of the season. First time as a Hawk, I'm pretty sure. And he was healthy most of the season, and he was a great defensive anchor. He blocked a ton of shots. He was leading the league in blocked shots. 8 points. Wasn't awful at doing truly anything. He was contributing. Even though near the end of the year, he was in another lineup with being healthy scratch to get younger guys in. I don't think it really mattered too much. I think he had a good year. DeBrincat, 41 goals. Fantastic year for Alex DeBrincat. Kane setting him up for most of them, Kane and Strome. But fantastic year for DeBrincat. No flack on his part. Delia, not really much to grade him on. I'll give him a C-. Only 1 win in his time, but it was a bad season for the Hawks overall. But Delia, he had 1 win. Well, I'm pretty sure he went 1-4-1 in his 6 games, so it's not great, especially when he got flattened by Nashville in his first appearance of the season. But we'll see if who's going to be the backup next year. If it's going to be Lankinen and Delia, or Soderblom. He's not on the list, but we'll see how that happens. At Whistle, again, another injury we have, and at Whistle, I'll give him a C- as well. Nothing extraordinary. It was physical. That was pretty much his role as a bottom sixer. Nothing really much else to say on that Whistle. He was injured injured for a while near the end of the year, so it's really nothing much to say. And Gustafsson, D. When you have 60 points in a season and you can't get back to that, it shows. Gustafsson was that. He was a healthy scratch for a lot of the season because he could put up points, but his defensive game got better. So I'll make him a D+ for that. Because his defensive game had improved, but there were some lapse in judgment, and his offense just wasn't as prominent as it was 3-4 years ago. Reese Johnson got the extension, so I'll give him a B, solid B, I think. Was there to hit, and he did hit. There's really nothing much else to say. We got extended because of it, and that's good. Now, Tyler Johnson is hard to do because he was out for the majority of the year with herniated disc surgery. Then he had a concussion. He just had a forgettable year. 7 points in that time. He did have a great end of the season, though. He was a point a game near the end of the season. So for that, I'm going to judge him more on that. I'm going to give him a B as well. Because a lot of the stuff that happened wasn't his fault. Now, Caleb Jones, I'll give him a C+. He got more points than I expected, but there were some times on defense that he would not be the greatest defender and completely lose his man, and that would lead to the other team scoring a lot of the time when he was on the ice, making him a liability. And liabilities aren't great, but his offensive output was more than I expected, so I'll move him up to a C+. Seth Jones, 51 points. I'll give him a A-. The best defenseman on the Hawks this year, without question. 51 points as a defenseman on this team was pretty solid. And, A- for Seth Jones in his first season with the Hawks. He's got 8 more years here unless that contract is moved upon, which I don't think it will be. So we're going to be seeing a lot of him from now to the near future. Now, Brandon Hagel, he was traded, obviously, but when he was here, A+. He did everything. He could hit, he could score, he could pass, 21 goals by the time of the deadline, and he was on quite possibly one of the best contracts in the league, so we get 2 first-rounders and 2 players for him. So, excellent year for Brandon Hagel, and we'll see if he can continue that in Tampa. Carpenter, 11 points. Started heating up by the time of the deadline, but he's a fourth-line center, or fourth-line winger, depending on how you use him. And he did his part, so I'm going to give him... Only thing that he doesn't have is that much speed, so I think I'll give him a B-. Hardman, 2 points in 21 games. He didn't really do much besides hit. I'll give him a D+. Patrick Kane, A without question. I'm not going to give him the A+ because we've seen him do better. I'm just kidding. He doesn't need to do better on this team. I'll give him the A+. Don't worry about it. And DeBrincat, he's matched that before, so I won't give him the A+. But I know, because I could see DeBrincat, he's young, he can have more in him. Kane's getting older, and he still put up 92 points. That's pretty phenomenal on his part. Kachuk, 1 point, which was a goal. Was there to frustrate his opponents, and he played well defensively. What his time in Chicago? I'll give him a B. A solid B. Kubalik, 32 points, then D. First year, he had 33 goals, I believe, running in for the Calder. Next, in the short year, he had 17 goals. Wasn't that bad. It was a short year. It was understandable. Then this year, in a long year, he was healthy scratch for parts of the year because he couldn't do anything. He started scoring a little bit at the end of the season again, but again, it's 32 points. I'm pretty sure he had more points last year in the short season than he did this year. Like, it's not acceptable if you're on. This is part of the reason why the Hawks didn't score and didn't make the playoffs. They couldn't get scoring from their guys. They expected Doc to do well, Kubalik. I'm pretty sure they expected Kerashev to do more. Tyler Johnson, if he wasn't injured. Hagel was a surprise, so he contributed. They expected probably Taze to do more, but we'll get there. So moving on, we have Kerashev, who a healthy scratch for parts. Whenever he came back from a healthy scratch, he would do well. So, D+. You expected him to do more, and he was healthy scratch for a lot of the season, so when you expect him to do more, but you can't really ask for much more. Like, I'm pretty sure he had maybe 15 points. Did he have like 15 points last season, 20 points? If he did the same amount of time, it's not really that much improvement. Lafferty, 11 points. Lafferty gets the extension. I love this guy. Lafferty gets an A. He has the speed, he has the toughness, he has skill that was shown in brief flashes this season. He's essentially the replacement for Brandon Hagel. This trade, that the first move that Kyle Davidson made, getting rid of Nylander and getting Lafferty, love that move. We've won this trade by a mile, I will say. Lafferty's been incredible, and he's going to be around for 2 more years, and he might be an asset at the deadline at some point, so we can get even more back. So, we'll see how that goes. Lankinen, as someone who saw him play this season, a lot of the goals you can't blame on him. The defense was awful. But even then, I still got to give him a C. It's not good enough. We saw him put out a winning record in his goaltending last season, and that winning record just got flashed away this season. Going 8-15-6, it's not good. McCabe, 22 points in his first year with Chicago. Pretty well defensively, could fight, could hit. Showed offensive scoring touch that he really hadn't shown off in Buffalo. And he coming off a torn ACL. B+. I'll give McCabe a B+. So, yeah, I'll give McCabe a B+. I think that he will be. Will he put out this many points next year? We'll see. It was a very high scoring year just all around in the league, so it might not be that high. But with all the injuries the defense had, he was able to step up and play a key role in the Hawks defense, even though if it wasn't the greatest defense in the world. Radish, 10 points in the time that he was here, A-. When you have 6 goals and coming into a new team, that's pretty good. And it was after the deadline, and he came in a period where we were in a dark spot, and Radish showed up right away. The vegetable, as I like to call him, he has shown that he could possibly play a role in this team's future, and I've liked this guy from when he was in Tampa, and when I saw he was part of the Hagel trade, I was very happy. Regula, 1 point, which was a goal. He got more confident. This was a growth year for him, so I'll give him a C. It's a growth year for him. He's not expected to do much, but yeah. Stillman, 12 points. There was a period where he was red hot, and he could fight. I don't really know how. He was pretty average though for the most part of it. So I guess I'll give him a C as well. Yeah. Strome, 48 points and a great bounce back season from him. Playing on a line with Kane and DeBrincat. When you play on a line with Kane and DeBrincat, you see they have 78 and 92. You expect more. But Strome, I will still give benefit of the doubt and give him an A-. He refound, after being a healthy scratch to start the season, he came back and found his groove. 22 goals this season, getting one in the final game. I think Strome was fantastic for the time that the second part of the season, and he was basically scoring at a point-a-game pace, just like he was when he came to the Hawks in 2018-19 from Arizona. Tays, 37 points. When you're playing on a $10.5 million contract and you still have 2 years left on it, and you just came back from taking a season off, how much can you expect? Tays. 37, not even 40 points, not even half a point. Well, to be fair, he only played 69 games, so that's about half a point a game because he was in concussion for a little bit. He's on COVID for a little bit. So for 37, I think I'm going to give him a C+. Because we obviously seen Tays do much better. He's had an 81-point season. He's captain serious. He's done it all in his career. And it's really questioning whether how long Tays is going to be in the league and if he can play a pivotal role in this team going forward. Will he stick around with this team? Probably not. I want to say maybe last year at the deadline, if Hawks retained 50%, he might be sold somewhere. But I don't know. Vlasic, 2 points in his 8 games. I think he played 8, maybe 9. I like the way he played. He was big. He did have couple lapses in judgment, however, so that led to some goals or some bad chances. So I think I will give him a. You can't even see this part of the board. So yeah, Vlasic, I'll give him a B-. You see the potential, but it's not there yet, and he's young, so it's fine. Kara, 3 points, injured for most of the year. He did his part. He hit. He fought. Then he got destroyed by Trouba, knocking him out for the season and getting him off on a stretcher. So I guess I'll give him a C+. And then Fleury, he gets a B+. I knew that one from the start. Not a great season from Fleury, but the team wasn't off. So I'll move it up to an A-. Fleury, you saw in Minnesota how good he could be, and yeah, our city was possibly the worst place Fleury's ever been to. And Pittsburgh went to the finals 5 times, went to the finals 4 times, won 3 cups. Vegas, he went to the finals once, and then Chicago got traded out at the deadline. We got back decent for him, but it's a shame that that was Fleury's experience with us. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys in this video. Is letter grading all of the players and looking back at their seasons. Key pieces I would take out of this: Strome, DeBrincat, Kane, and Lafferty for probably the best players of the year. For the most disappointing, Doc, Kubalik, Borgstrom. Yeah, that's about it. But that's all I have for you guys in this one. Hopefully I can still get 3 more videos out by the end of the day. But I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good rest of your day. And hopefully you'll come back and see my next videos later on in the day. So, see you then. Goodbye.